Welcome to another video. Now, yesterday, Kyrie Irving requested a trade away from the Cleveland Cavaliers. His preferred destinations are the San Antonio Spurs, the New York Knicks, the Miami Heat, and my favorite team, the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we are going to, with Espn Trade Machine, trade Kyrie Irving to each of the four teams he'd prefer to be traded to and see where is he most likely to be traded. We're going to start with the San Antonio Spurs because it seems very unlikely. So you trade Kyrie Irving and his almost $19 million a year cap figure to the Spurs. Now, what is Cleveland going to want back? They're not going to want LaMarcus Aldridge back at more money, doubling up on the position of Kevin Love and even Tristan Thompson. They're not going to, Kawhi Leonard, they would love Kawhi Leonard, but he's not going to be attainable. They're not going to want Tony Parker. They're going to want Danny Green, probably. All these guys who can't be traded cannot be traded because they've recently signed or something else. They're going to want DeJounte Murray. They're going to want the young guard back. They might want a draft pick or two. They could probably take Kyle Anderson. But at this point, the money still doesn't add up. So to even get a trade that would work, they would likely need to have a partially guaranteed contract for Joel Anthony in a sign-and-trade, or maybe they'd want to fully guarantee David Lee at a figure that would make the trade go through. But as it stands currently, the trade wouldn't even work. You'd be taking a lot of young talent from the Spurs, which I don't think San Antonio's into that. Maybe they would be. We'd have to see. Now let's look at the Minnesota Timberwolves as a trade option. So if Kyrie goes to the Wolves, unfortunately, because the Wolves signed Jeff Teague too recently, they can't trade Teague back until December. I would really like to see that trade, but we're going to get Kyrie Irving without giving up Teague. We're not giving up Jimmy Butler. We literally just got him. We're not giving up Karl Anthony Towns because Butler and Towns asked the Wolves front office to get Irving. So what can the Wolves do? They can give up Gorgui Dieng, $14 million. He's a very solid third big man. He would fit in really well behind Thompson and behind Love. He could even be more of a true center than Tristan Thompson is. I think it would be an interesting fit, but I think it would be one worth pursuing. Now, if they go and ask for Wiggins, it would work. It would knock down the projected wins for the Cavs by 5. It would increase the Wolves by 2. Let's say the Wolves get greedy. They want to keep Andrew Wiggins. Who else could they trade? Cole Aldridge, I don't think there's any value there. They're not trading Cat. So then you get down to some of these cheaper guys. I'm going to say Nemanja Bjelica. Reason I say that, or I think it might be Bjelica, he's a stretch 4. It would hurt the Timberwolves to give him up because he's one of their shooting guys off the bench that would go down the drain. If you look at LeBron James and what does he want for his team, he wants shooters, and Bjelica is a shooter. This trade would work financially. It would cost the Cavs 10 wins, give the Wolves 4 wins. So certainly there are trades that could work, and the Wolves would absolutely be throwing in first-round picks. For sure if they're not giving up Wiggins, but even if they give up Wiggins, they still might have to throw in a first-round pick. Now we're going to go to the New York Knicks. Cleveland and New York. So this is going to require some creativity because it would almost certainly be a Kyrie Irving for Carmelo Anthony deal. At this point, Anthony takes up an extra $8 million in cap room. So what happens here is the Cavs unload Channing Frye, and they probably look to unload Iman Shumpert. In return, they're going to want some other guys, so Kristaps is not available, but they're going to want... I think they should go for Ron Baker. I'm a Ron Baker fan back from when he was at Wichita State, and I think they do a sign-and-trade involving Derrick Rose. Now, because they don't have money values assigned to them since they haven't been signed, the trade machine is going to say this trade would not work. But I think this would be a pretty decent trade. The Cavaliers could still go for a first-round pick with this. But you get Carmelo for Kyrie. You unload the kind of bad-looking contracts, to be honest with you, of Shumpert and Frye. You get back Rose. And then you get back Ron Baker, who I think is a good, young shooting guard. Not quite the defender Shumpert is, but he's a three-point shooter. Honestly, a younger version, to me, of Kyle Korver. And because he's younger, he can defend a little bit more. If we add more guys to do this trade, I think it adds... Or it takes away 3 wins from the Cavs and takes away 4 wins from the Knicks. But the Knicks are trying to tank, so the Knicks don't mind that. Only taking away 3 wins from the Cavs is not bad. But now we're going to look at the Miami Heat, because the Miami Heat seem to make the most sense, and we're going to get into why very quickly. So Kyrie Irving. Now, if Kyrie goes to Miami having Kyrie and Goran Dragic makes no sense. So Goran Dragic goes back to Cleveland. This could be a straight-up trade. That it would require first-rounders from the Heat. The Heat are going to be a playoff team in all likelihood every year. Or they'll be like 13th or 14th if they make the lottery. They're always decent to above average, if not elite. Now, elite was certainly with the Big Three era. They're going to be average to slightly above average. But anyways, you're going to need more than just Goran Dragic. And I think... Well, that's Goran Dragic in a first rounder or two. So let's say they want Justice Winslow. So they ask for Dragic and Winslow for Irving. And that would still give plenty of wing options between... You could slide Johnson to small forward. You could have Dion Waiters, Wayne Ellington, or Tyler Johnson. Now, those guys are smaller, but then you have Josh Richardson too. So let's say you want to do this trade. Takes away 3 wins from the Cavs, adds 4 to the Heat. I think that trade makes the most sense. Although I really think it could come down to the Knicks with that Carmelo. Man, I think like a Carmelo and Rose for Kyrie would make sense. If I were the Cavs, I would really go for Ron Baker too, because I think Ron Baker would be a really valuable bench asset. Plus, if you get rid of Frye and you get rid of Irving, you upgrade your overall team. If you guys enjoyed this video, I ask you to click the like button. Comment where you think Kyrie Irving's going to go. Honestly, I think he's going to go to the Knicks. Although I'd really love to see him in Minnesota. And I think him going to Miami would be a really interesting possibility. I think the Spurs are just super unlikely. But yeah, I normally do mobile games, primarily MLB Perfect Inning Live, but I also do some NBA Live, some Madden Mobile. I'll be doing more of those once those games reset. But yeah, that's about it for this video. I'm G. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, and as always, peace out.